Look who's come to visit me on my bedroom window here. Look at that guy. Hang on a sec. I gotta get this. Look at him. He's right on my windowsill. One of the things that I tell friends who want to come down to Mexico is that everything in this country, I'm told all of South America, nothing works right. Absolutely nothing, probably absolutely nothing works right. And if it just works, you're happy. And if you can't deal with that, don't come. Some of these gringo houses are really nice. They spend equal money probably as in the States for these fucking things. But I've even been in those where things are Mickey Mouse. So I'm going to show you, but I don't care about this stuff. Doesn't even matter to me. But I'm going to show you a little bit of what we got going on here, okay? My windows here don't have any glass in them. There are shutters you can shut. I never have shut them. So you got a screen, but the screen blows open with the wind. I could figure out probably some way to keep it closed, but the mosquitoes haven't really been a problem, okay? Of these beds, that mattress was on top of this one. Then there's this bed. All these mattresses suck. I actually took this bedroom out of the next room because nobody is over there, and drug it into here because it was the best bed, okay? They're all lumpy or sideways. Worse than sleeping on the ground, I think, a lot of them. Fuck, if there wasn't a good one, I might have just put my normal bed on the ground. So let's take a look at my bathroom here. This particular room has a bathroom, okay? We got a sink. This side of the sink doesn't have a drain. That's very common for them. Here, this side does. You have to figure out how to work that. All right, let's take a look at the bathroom here. This shower has one of those electric water heaters on it, which are not uncommon down here because there's no water heater in this place. I'm echoing in here. Let me back up a little bit. So it was working when we first got here, and then I turned it on trying to make it work. V don't want to have hot water. I don't really care. It's this place, you know, it's hot down here anyway. But I'm looking at it and it starts smoking. Then it starts really smoking, and I back up and I'm like, fuck, we're gonna have a fire. And then it dawned on me, I'm freaking out for a minute, right? Then it dawned on me, these places are made out of block and fucking concrete. They don't burn. Fire's not a going concern down here. They have fires everywhere. You can have a fire anywhere you want. Nobody gives a shit. And then it went out. So I went down and got Roberto to show it to him. And he asked me if I had a set of wire cutters, which I did, which I gave him. So he cut the wires. You see it? But now the damn thing won't even let water through it at all. So it's useless. Unless they decide they want to fix it. But there's another shower, so I don't care. And then we have a toilet, which works. The seat was broken off of it when we got here. So there's that. This window here does not have... It doesn't even have shutters, this one. But the weather's generally good. I mean, you know, it's tropical here, okay? So, let's take a look at how the water works here. Okay, notice that the kitchen floor, I don't know if you can see it, but it's slanted downhill quite a bit. That's because this used to be the roof. This was originally a 3-story building. They built this on it, and this was originally the roof, man.
And you might ask why we're, you know, staying in a place that's slanted and all these things. It's just, I don't know, it's a fraction. It's a fraction of the price of what would be around here, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's cheap here.
Yeah, they're probably like 5 to 8 times the price.
Right.
Somewhere else.
So the boys built this place for Grandma haphazardly up here, and this is what they ended up with. So we got a couple of refrigerators that don't work. Coffee, doing the coffee thing. Propane tank behind it, which wasn't working. The stove wasn't working when I got here, but it just had leaks in the line, so I fixed it. And it's been working ever since. This refrigerator does work. What else? You can see the way things have been blocked up. It's kind of leveled them out.
I think they were trying to set a world record for the amount of different tiles that they could use on the floor.
They were obviously using whatever they had.
I think this is like an ancient
Okay.
Roman.
Now let's try the water. Yep, we got no water, right? Well, that's normal. And I'll show you why.
You can stay here for a month for the price of your car insurance.
Because we haven't turned the pump on. There's the pump. See it? So I got to hit the pump on. It'll come on. Okay, now we got water. There it is. And so the pump is noisy, so we shut it off a lot, but it will shut itself off after a while. And then maybe the water will run, and maybe it won't. And if it doesn't, you got to walk over there and turn it off, turn it back on. Okay? So we got these 4 rooms here. We got this bathroom here. Okay, this one's functional. Cold water only, of course. And the way the waters work around here, and I'm not sure exactly the details of it, but they have these Tanakos. This is our water tank. This, and it's filling right now, you can hear it. This place has a well down there, and the pump comes on in the mornings usually and fills this tank. See it? And it's got these things that are like a toilet that shut it off when it gets full. Those don't work anymore. They put something else in there that generally shuts it off. For a while, it was just simply, it would keep running, overflow, and go through a drain in the floor. There's drains here because it was a roof anyways, so it would drain out. To the best of my knowledge, the tanks fill up. The water's only on for in the mornings. Just seems to be that way everywhere down here. And they fill up these Tanakos. They start to all fill up. And then the well runs dry, and they, or maybe, I think that's how it works. And then they shut them off, and you run on the water that's in your Tanako for the day. And then the well fills back up, and in the morning it comes back on and fills the Tanakos. I believe that's how it works. In any case, this is all over the damn country. This is how they do it. So it's kind of a strange deal, and then we still got to have a pump for the sink. So all in all, as far as I'm concerned, I think this country has very good infrastructure. They do have roads. They're not the greatest, but you got roads all over the place. You do have electricity. Once in a while, maybe it'll shut off. We've had good electric stuff here, but if it does shut off, you just have to deal with it until it comes back on. They do have running water. This place even has Wi-Fi, although it hasn't been working the last couple of days. I don't know what happened to it. And it's not the greatest Wi-Fi, but it does work in general. So that's kind of the way the whole country is. And I don't fucking care. All my needs are met here. And I don't care about shit like that. So, doesn't matter if I did have money, I would stay in a place like this. Because I like it. Too much luxury. Joe Rader talked about that in one of his videos recently. And you know who else talks about this is Sid. Well, all these guys live on their bikes. But too much luxury makes me soft. And I get kind of depressed, and there needs to be some adversity in life. And I have noted that when there's not a lot, when life's too easy, a lot of us have a tendency to invent some kind of drama, because it's kind of natural to have adversity, it seems to me. I get depressed and lazy if I just fucking don't have anything going on. When you hit the road, you're back to, I gotta find a place to sleep, I gotta find a place to eat. Oh, I just met this guy, this interesting thing's happening. It goes all back to that. I got bad weather, whatever. But, so I've noted that when there isn't any, folks have a tendency to invent it. Things like, this guy cut me off in traffic and I'm really pissed off, right? And it's like, And when you look at it for reality, who the fuck cares? The guy moved over a little too soon and kept on going. And is this really a thing? It's not, unless I make it one. So that's my experience with it. I like having a little adversity, and I don't want to live. If I had plenty of money, I would be staying right here anyway, because I like this kind of shit. Let's talk to this crazy chick for a minute. She loves to talk. American girl. Hey Amanda, you know what I wanted to ask something?
What?
Did they come around here and hassle you for like permits and shit like that?
No.
Taxes or weird shit? No?
No, do you want to know why?
Why?
Because when it's called aumento. When aumento shows up, I have my husband disappear.
What's
And
that
then
mean?
It means I tell him, get the fuck out of here. And then they go, do you have paperwork? And I'm like, no, I don't have any paperwork. And they go, did you pay taxes? And I'm like, but you never came, so I didn't pay anything. And then they're like, all right, 100 pesos. So I pay 100 pesos and they go away.
That's it, huh? So,
because now here is a
tell me, Amanda,
Yeah,
how did you end up here doing this? I mean, you are from the States, aren't you?
I am. I applied for paperwork for my husband, and my husband was what we call castigado. So my husband was denied entry back into the States after his interview. We started paperwork when we were pregnant with the first kid. She's now 17.
How does that work? We were pregnant. How's that work?
And then when he got banned, is what it's called in English, we were pregnant with the second kid. So he wasn't allowed entry. So I stayed in the States and had the baby alone. Sold all my belongings, cars included, and I worked for a year, and then I moved here. When I got here, I had a 2-year-old and a 9-month-old baby, and then we lived in Vallarta.
How long you been here?
Yes, I've been here for 16 years.
16 years. I noticed you speak pretty good Spanish.
My oldest, when I got here, it's not. We're like the poorest.
You guys are out in the sticks now, ain't you?
Now we're out in Tigilichi. My landlord just took me to court yesterday because he says I have too many animals. And
You
so
do, don't you?
I do. So he took me to court. And,
You're a
when
veterinarian by trade, right?
Yeah, I'm a veterinarian by trade. Yeah. And so I've been doing veterinary. I work with bees, Pets for Life. I used to be the veterinarian for Cornbread. I used to be the veterinarian for SPCA as well. SPCA was the worst. That was the worst. Yeah, that one I got fired from.
You waiting?
No, she's chilling.
Yeah, intro one year.
You got it. Yeah, I worked for a lot of different people. Most of it was volunteer. Porvenir, that one was fun.
Hey, you got any running water out where you live?
I do a barely.
Barely?
Barely. I just barely got running water. And last night, our hot water heater handle on our hot water heater broke, so we don't have hot water again.
Oh, I don't have that either. So
We just got hot water 2 months ago.
you guys got electricity then?
Barely.
Barely?
Yeah. Well, we live with no electricity and no water for 9 months. Now we have no electricity and no running water for 9 months.
What animal? You got like a bunch of chickens?
I do. I've got 50 to 60 chickens. I've got ducks. I'm supposed to have 7, but they keep having babies, so I think I have around 20 ducks. I've got 3 milking goats that are pregnant. I've got a donkey. I've got 2 horses. I have 5 pigs.
5 pigs?
Yeah, Nicki Minaj is pregnant, so we're gonna have babies soon. So in case you want a mini pig. Buen dia. We have Nicki Minaj, Chicharron, Daipi,
Where's mine at?
Güero.
Here, I can eat and film at the same time.
I've got 2 cats because my cats are being eaten by boa constrictors, so we don't bring any more cats to the property. And I'm trying to get a cow. Her name's Chaka.
Well, how'd you end up doing this gig? Wait a minute.
Okay.
Let's take a look here.
What ended up happening was When we got here, we only had a few dogs. So we moved to Tikilichi. And when we were in Tikilichi, we lived in the worst house ever. It had no flooring, and it had no electricity and no water. And then we bought the land. And so when we moved, I was like, we gotta do something to make some money. And I was like, we're gonna make falafel and hummus sandwiches. And Fernando, my husband, was like, nobody wants bird food sandwiches. We're not gonna do that. And I was like, fuck you. It's too late. I bought the tricycle, so go to Bucerias and pick it up. Wait, I got the best story. So he goes to Bucerias to pick up this trike, which is like total shit now.
Yeah, I see that.
11 years ago, okay? So he goes to Bucerias to pick up this trike. No shit, the lady who was selling the trike was my vet client from Vallarta.
Really?
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, so we lived in Valledrado, which is right outside of Mezcales, where the Sam's Club is. And I am a famous veterinarian there. And I have people who come from Mezcales to get treatment here in San Pancho because they don't like the vets over there. Yeah. I was famous. I worked from 8 in the morning until 1 in the morning. That was probably a bad decision to open my doors at 1 in the morning because we lived in a really bad neighborhood. And my husband was never home. So at the time I didn't think about it. I just opened up. And I had a lot of mafia members who were clients of mine who would bring me their dogs with like gunshot wounds and dog fighting and yeah. And then to get meds, I was legally licensed. So I got arrested twice. Do you want chili? I got arrested for breaking and entering.
Into what?
Into a house.
Why were you?
Because there was a dog inside with puppies, and the puppies were dying, and the lady didn't live there. And it was before Green Patrol, and so people would call, and they would go, "Hey, my neighbor is mistreating their dog." So what I started doing for free, because I had nothing to do, is I would go to people's houses and I would knock on their door. And I would go, your dog is being mistreated, it's in the sun. And most of the time they didn't know. Like they would hook up their dog and they would leave for work. And then halfway through the day, well, the sun would change and the dog would be in pure sun. Sometimes though, the dog was mistreated for being mistreated. So then I would tell them, all right, you have a week to fix the problem or I'll take your dog.
You got arrested for taking dogs?
Yeah. Yeah. So fast forward, that was in Vallarta. So the guy, I jumped in the window and another neighbor called and was like, there's a lady that just broke into a house. I just picked up my daughter from school, so I have my daughter with me from elementary school. And the police showed up, the bomberos, and they go, you're breaking and entering. And I go, but the dog is being mistreated. And they go, are you here legally? And I was like, no. And they're like, I go, I'm here on a tourist visa. And they go, well, aren't you that veterinarian that lives around the block? And I was like, no, I'm on a tourist visa. I'm just a tourist. I don't have a business. So I got arrested. But I got to keep the dog. And I got
You got to keep the dog?
I got to keep the dog and the puppies. Yeah, Akira. I adopted him out.
Were you really not the veterinarian that lives around the corner?
No, I wasn't the veterinarian.
Why'd you lie?
Because if you don't have papers, you can't be doing a business.
Oh.
So then a year after that, hey Johan, I got arrested for an illegal veterinary business. The veterinarian that I worked with reported me. And the report was that I was making more money than she was. And so I told the immigration officer, well, she should just be a better veterinarian than it's not my fault that I'm better than she is. And so they tried to arrest my 2 kids, and I got arrested while I was pregnant with the 3rd kid. Yeah, and they took my passport. The best part was, though, ¿Quieres Chile? The best part is they go, you're not allowed to practice anymore. And I go, I'm not allowed to practice anymore? And they go, no. And I go, okay. So, well, I was treating a Fiscalia agent's dog for cancer. So he had a petition signed, and I got to stay, but they took my passport. And they're like, no practicing veterinary. And I go, all right, are you going to come check? I had a full fucking clinic on the front porch. And I was like, are you going to come check the clinic? And he goes, no, don't do it again. And And I was like, okay, so you're gonna come by and check if I'm working. And they go, well, no, but just don't do it again. And I was like, okay. So I waited a week, and then I opened back up again. And they came back, and they were like, gracias a ti. They were like, you're practicing again. And I was like, no. And they go, the vet drove by your house and took pictures of you practicing. You have a line down the street. And I was like, I can't say no. They won't stop coming to the fucking house. I don't know what to tell you. ¿Cómo quieres, Johan? And so they go, just move it to the back patio, Amanda, so that she doesn't see it. And I was like, okay, sweet, I'll do that. So then every Wednesday I had to go to immigration and check in to show that I didn't run. If I ran, then I didn't get my passport back. So I got my papers.
Why would you run? Did you have to like?
I had to apply for papers.
Oh.
And so if I left, I wasn't allowed back in. So they took my passport to make sure I wouldn't run. So it became a joke. Like I'd show up and I'd be like, "La güera's here with tacos and tequila," and like it just became like this running joke. And the immigration actually is the ones who helped me get my paperwork.
Yeah.
They were very nice. Yeah. Yeah, I actually went into the immigration office years later and got my parents their paperwork with the same immigration officers, and they absolutely loved it. Brought the baby and everything. They were super excited to see me.
You got them papers for what?
I got my parents' permanent residency papers. Yeah.
Did they live here now?
Yeah, unfortunately, they live fucking 2 blocks down. What's a bad decision?
Where are they from? What state?
They're from Arizona. They're on a timeout right now.
They're on a timeout, huh?
Yeah, we give them times out. But it's the same. She doesn't come to our house. She
No?
says that we live like poor Mexicans.
Do ya?
Yeah. Our house is made out of adobe blocks. The whole house is only half
I do
walls,
too, you know.
like this. And there's a palapa. Johan can tell you
That's
this one.
lucky.
Huh? ¿Verdad, Johan? We had a whole story, me and Johan, about the roof. We couldn't figure out what to do with the roof, me and Johan. And we were like, what the fuck are we gonna do with this damn roof? And Johan said to put concrete. And I was like, fuck you, I don't want any concrete, Johan. And then my grandma died. And she gave me 350,000 pesos. So I put a palap on it. And guess what, Johan? The motherfucker leaks.
Oh, you.
I know!
You never listen to that. You never listen.
Pain in my ass, that one.
Huh?
She's a pain in the ass, that one.
Take a look at this
Yeah, I've
thing.
been here for 15 years. And I started making the falafel and hummus first. And then afterwards, he's like, oh shit, this is gonna work. And I was like, fuck yeah, it's gonna work.
So now he makes it all,
20
doesn't
in
he?
an hour, and now he makes it all.
Sometimes you're swamped over here. I'm
Yeah.
like, I ain't gonna wait, man.
I do,
too fucking
on a
many
good
people.
day, I do 150. Today I got 120 because it went down because of that weird shooting in Vallarta.
Oh, went down after that?
Yeah, I went down just a little bit.
That
We're
was a-
still at 120. And then we also do catering.
That
and
was-
then we run a full vet service. We do full veterinary services.
That was that was such a bullshit thing, too.
Oh, it was ridiculous. And you know what the funny part was? Our kids were there.
Yeah?
Yeah, Fernando got in a fight with his mom, and I was like, fuck you, I want to see your mom, because your mom's better than my mom. So I left, and I went to Vallarta, and like dropped off 2 of my kids over there, and then the shooting happened. I dropped them off on Saturday, I couldn't get them back till Tuesday. Here's the best part. My oldest, she's 17, so I'm trying to like let her do her thing. She goes, I want to go to a party in Las Ayalas, and I'm like, all right, don't drink too much, and come back. So then the shooting went down. She got back at 1 in the morning. You know what happened?
What?
The party she went to, the guy that was throwing the party for his daughter, he was the head mafia member. Bye,
Was he?
Johan! Yeah, and so she's like, it's okay, Mom, I was safe. I was with the head mafia member. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
It was kind of a bullshit thing. I mean,
They didn't hurt anybody. They just set cars on fire. It was just
you know what
like,
they did? They set stuff on fire.
Yeah.
Put them buses.
Yeah.
So they could go up on a roof and film it with all the smoke coming up, making it look like it's a war
and it
zone
looked like
when it
this
really
big war zone,
wasn't.
and it wasn't. They
So
didn't
everybody's
kill or
freaked
hurt
out, which
anybody.
screwed up your business.
Uh-huh.
Everybody in the north freaked out.
Everything that I thought, I was 19 and he was 35.
Been with this guy 22 years.
Yeah, I still kill him. It drives me crazy, but it's okay.
Does he deserve to die
He
sometimes?
deserves to die sometimes. Sometimes he deserves to die.
You probably do too. She does too, doesn't she?
Not because I'm an Aries and he's a Sagittarius, so I always go, I'm the fire and he's the water. We butt heads all the time. The world is a terrible place and you gotta live it the way you gotta live it. That's the way it is. No sugarcoating shit. Especially if you have girls. Because girls, you're gonna get super shitty men, so you gotta be strong and tough and mean about it. Back off! And then you're good to go. Scott's been coming for years. He's a client that's been here forever.
Thank you, girl.
It's so good to see you. I love you heaps. I'm so glad you guys are back. I hate that you're not here longer though.
I know, me too.
And you guys are so beautiful. I remember you were tiny little nuggets running to circus class. And now you're freaking gigantic. I know, on their bicycles and all their crap they have. It's good to see you too.
I wish we were
Here, come here, I'll take that. I know, why you're not here longer? They're in school, come on. You look so big now. Now I look like a big baby.
You and the girls real quick? Absolutely.
Come here, my loves. So good to see you guys. Now you're taller than I am.
So cute.
Yeah, remember when catering, you guys were like,